they end up sick. So when I'm talking about self-care, I'm talking about let me listen to my intuition. I'm talking about my five senses are telling me things, and I need to start paying attention to what is it that makes me feel good, because there's something that helps me recharge. And even in the midst of feeling horrible, what is it? Let me call my girlfriend. Let me call my boyfriend, right? Let me connect with people, because that's the biggest self-care that you can actually do, is connecting with others.
So I think that's sort of it's sort of ironic that they're trained to actively listen, but not actively listen to themselves. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yikes.
Yeah, they take care of others. They don't take care of self. That's most healthcare. That's most people that care for others. You've learned how to take care of yourself because we've known each other a long time. But not everyone really does that, right? And then what happens? You end up with illnesses that may not be something that you can recover from. I think the body can help heal itself a lot. But when you keep putting it in that chronic state of fight, flight, or freeze, when's it going to be able to rest and relax?
Okay, so then the next question comes up is, not only how do you define self-care, but how do you activate it in yourself? So obviously, if we're trained, and I can understand, we're trained to listen to others, but not listen to ourselves. So how do we turn that around in a way that really is viable, right?
In my opinion, and that's just my opinion, right? I think everyone has to figure it out for themselves. What I learned with self-care is if I didn't put myself first thing in the day, I was never going to take care of myself, because there's always something that gets in the way. And I used to work 6A to 6P at Sarasota Memorial, just FYI. I would get up at 4:30 in the morning and go riding on my bike, and I would think, and I would empty my brain, and I would just be able to just have the whole day open for whatever comes next. But I like being able to do that. Not everyone wants to do that. Not everyone wants to connect with themselves and feel and think. Mm-hmm. There's more clarity in it, in my opinion, that way. But a lot of people have become so absorbed by the other, they think that's normal. They forget there's real true joy that you can experience. So it's like, well, what am I taking care of myself for? I feel like shit anyway. That's why sorry, I said that. But the reason you're doing it is so that you won't, so you'll start to feel good. One of the things I love to do more than anything else is I love to journal. I don't always know what it's going to be. It's great when you write down whatever it is. Mental mind dumps are one of my favorite things to do, which is basically find a way to do something mindless because your brain needs it. We take in so much information throughout the day. What is your way of doing it? Is it music? Is it writing? Is it going for a walk? Is it going for a swim? Luckily, we live in Florida. We have so many options of doing things outside. Not everyone has that option. Self-care, feeding yourself correctly, putting the right nutrition in your body instead of this processed garbage. Going for a walk on the beach, grounding yourself, doing yoga, meditation. There's so many different opportunities, and you don't want to limit yourself in how to do it, but you've got to try them all to figure out what feels good. And gratitude is probably the biggest thing that I've done for self-care that has made the hugest difference in my life. Initially, it was very hard to really think.
I was going to say, how did you work all this out? If you're working a 12-hour shift, that's a lot, right?
It is, but in all fairness, say that, but I'm kind of behind and ahead. I started Personal Development Quest in 1996. So when I fell apart, I had the luxury of having a lot of training behind me, and I'd already started to know what self-care was. Most people don't. They just go day by day, or I'm exercising. That's great, but what are you doing in every other area of your life? Because that might help you physically, but what's going on with you mentally? How are you connecting with yourself and your higher power? Gratitude to me is what helped ground me more than anything. In the midst of my despair, when I came back after New York, I was literally crying and screaming. I felt like a 5-year-old screaming, oh my God, why? And I was like, oh my gosh, I know why. And it was because if I didn't suffer like this, I couldn't help others, people that are. I was able to see the blessings in the midst of the misery. I was able to see that there's a bigger power than my misery. And so taking care of myself became really important because I've got to take care of others. I had to learn how to take care of me first. really take care of me, which was listening. Listening, truly that act of listening. What's going on with your brain? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Most people don't want to think that hard, especially when they don't feel good. That's what I've experienced, right? You tend to hide. You don't want to think. You just want to kind of curl up in a ball and say, leave me alone. And I said, that's opposite of what I'm going to do if I need to heal. So I knew it was counterintuitive. Self-care is what's intuitive to you.
Your focus is mostly on nurses. Why only for nurses?
Mostly. Because it's not that I only care about the nurses. We may be a very large representation in the USA. Actually, according to the American Academy of College of Nurses, I believe that's the right one. It's AACN. You can look it up, whoever's listening. 84.5% of healthcare professionals in the USA are made up of nurses. That's why. Because they're the ones that are helping others heal. And up to 40% of them are being traumatized by these disorders. And if they're not able to do their jobs, who's going to help you heal? There's no one else that can. And there's already a nursing shortage. So it's not getting any better. And the only way to potentially flip the shortage is to start focusing at some point, we can help heal the nurses, and that's the purpose of doing it, is when the nurses are healed well enough, they can start speaking and taking over healthcare reform and leading it so that we can work on health promotion, so that people can start really being well. Imagine that. If we had the majority of our society well, we wouldn't have a nursing shortage, and most people wouldn't be in hospitals.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, Charlotte, I know that we're running out of time on this first part, because we're going to have a second part, so we can really kind of delve into this more. But share with us, you actually are developing a self-care course that is going to be available.
Yes, I actually already did, and I want to offer to all the local nursing programs and hospitals. It's 1 hour self-care, and included in that is a 10-minute cognitive exercise to help people reset and get into that rest and relaxation mode. Because you have to be able to do that to help yourself heal and stay sane and help others.
So you're in the process of developing that right now, or you've done
it's already
it.
done.
You're ready to get it out there, right?
I'm ready to get it out there. That's correct. And I also have my 4-hour trauma and stress disorders for nurses as well, and that's ready to go as well.
That's so awesome.
Continuing education.
So how do people get a hold of you if they want to jump in with you?
Well, there are a few ways. The best way is to either go onto Facebook at Nurse Shar. You can send me a message. You can also look up At Your Service Education on Facebook. You can find me under Charlotte Jones on LinkedIn, and you can find me at www.medicalwarriors2020.com on the web.
Awesome. So on our next part, we're going to jump into a little bit more of this and what we see the impact on society as a whole. So we want to invite our listeners to jump in with us, listen to us next time. And Charlotte, it's been amazing to just hear your story, and also to get the clarity of nurses, because I think we have this whole other view that nurses are they're our heroes and they're doing great, right?
They are, but they're also very exhausted, and people aren't, and they're not understanding that the hospitals, how they're treating most of their quote-unquote heroes.
Yeah.
They are not
So we'll hear more on the next part. Thank you so much, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into our show on societybitesradio.com. Don't worry if you've missed a show. You can find them all on our website at SarasotaHolisticChamberofCommerce.com.